Steve Kim, Jay Skapanik joining me. Steve, blacks versus white in the NBA All-Star game. Good idea, bad idea, what?
When I first heard this and I saw that clip on Twitter, I thought it was the worst idea I ever heard. Now, I don't think it's the worst. I don't even think it's all that bad. Here's the issue, though. No matter what format you use, black versus white, Europe against the USA or USA against the world, can you legislate effort? That genie is out of the bottle. You can't put him back in. And just yesterday, I was flipping through the channels, and I happened to be on the NBA Network by accident, and they were playing the 1986 All-Star Game. That weekend is famous because that's when Spud Webb pulled the big upset on Dominique Wilkins. Larry Bird won the three-point contest. The actual game, I watched pretty much the fourth quarter. That game became real basketball. It was really good effort. People cared. And in the East won, they pulled away late. That effort is gone. And until you actually get players to play the game in a manner that is befitting what it used to be, and also not to insult the fan base and at least give a token effort, Jason, I don't think the idea is bad. The problem is, again, you need to have better effort.
Yeah, I think the effort would be solved. The black players would go at this like their life depended on it because they know they would get lit up on social media. Their dunks at the rim would be contested because no one wants to be posterized in a game like that. I think it would fix entirely the effort problem because, again, once the black guys started competing, the white guys are going to compete just as hard. You don't. That's the silver bullet for this one game. The effort would not be a problem.
All right, I have a question. Does the one drop rule apply here? What is truly black and white? I'm just, again,
the Ball brothers. Is that what you're thinking?
well, a lot of the league. A lot of the league. It's different. It is different. So do we go by the brown paper bag rule that I've heard about? Do we go to a lineage? Do you have to go through a whole DNA test?
No.
How would we do this?
You bring in an expert like Ryan Clark, and he gets to decide who's authentically black and who's not based on haircuts and tattoos.
Okay.
Scap, good idea or bad idea?
Guys, I'm sweating. I'm uncomfortable. You put me in this racial conversation. Come on, I don't belong in here, guys. Don't you know that Scap attack allegedly is racist? Why? Well, because I'm a Nikola Jokic supporter and I'm critical of LeBron James, obviously. So now you're just getting me in trouble in this conversation. But I do have a lot to say here on it. But before I do so, I want to ask the question of you guys: how has Nick Wright found this loophole? Now, I know he is married to a black woman. His children are black. He has black grandkids, actually. He is a grandfather. But, Nick, you're white, bro. Like, this reminds me of in Seinfeld when Tim Whatley converted to Judaism just to be able to tell the jokes. Like, how is Nick Wright? How is he getting away with these patently racist conversations when
I think you've answered the question.
Right.
I think you answered the question and you don't even know it. He's a part of a tribe that you get to have these conversations. He's not white. But
I guess I answered that question. But yeah. to his like premise or his suggestion that we make a white versus black All-Star game, which by the way would just be driving more, I think, racial tension throughout the country, which I think is totally manufactured. But sports is the one, to me, again, I've been saying it all along, is the one bastion where like race really shouldn't be a factor or a thing because it's just, can you play or can you not play? Totally merit-based. But if we make this white versus black All-Star game, I think you're intentionally trying to introduce that kind of tension. That's point one. But point two, to your premise on effort, Jason, I think you're spot on. I think the black team would be putting everything they had into this because of the amount of blowback they would get potentially on the internet if they lost to the all-white team. But the white team is the team that I think that you'd have to worry about effort effort with. Look, Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic, who are the two best white players on the face of planet Earth, probably the best player in the world by far to me in Jokic, and a top 3 guy in Luka. Those two guys notoriously do not care about all-star games. When they play on the same team, they just take the week to like pal around with each other. They make a joke of most of the practices. They don't give any effort really in the games. Jokic has talked specifically about how he dislikes it. So you have the two of probably the two best players on that team that really wouldn't care at all. So you would have, based on your suggestion alone, that the black team would be trying and giving maximum effort, and then the two principally like star players on the white team really wouldn't care much about this game.
Well, here's where I think you're wrong, Scap. If people went out there and were competing, Nikola Jokic is going to compete. Again, he's not going, oh, you're playing hard? This is a real game? Oh, you guys are taking this serious? Luka, I would think, would compete, but I think Jokic definitely would. And Steve, I think like Scap may be too young to realize, like, hey man, the entire sport of boxing for years, going back to Jack Johnson, was built around black-white racial conflict. The NBA with Magic and Bird resuscitated itself, or I wouldn't even say resuscitate, brought itself into relevancy with the black-white deal. There is gold in black-white racial conflict. I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but it's a true thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can go all the way back to Jack Johnson. During his run, there was a national cry for the Great White Hope, right? And then it became with Jack Johnson the way he was received. There literally was a color line in the heavyweight class or the division for more than 20 years till Joe Louis came about. And then Joe Louis and Max Schmeling, that became more of a nationalistic thing, but I think there was a racial angle. You know, you referenced the fight in the early 80s between Jerry Cooney and Larry Holmes. There is no doubt about it that the racial tension was fanned in that fight by Don King and the management of Jerry Cooney. It became very ugly. HBO did a Legendary Nights, and they dealt with that really first and foremost about how it sold. Jason, we were at this fight. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. I don't think Tyson Fury, as a European, wanted any part of it. I don't even think he understood it fully. But all of a sudden, Deontay Wilder, it's brought up to him. It's Black History Month. He came out with the costume and the music. Then all of a sudden, the atmosphere kind of changed around that whole event. So yeah, has race been sold as an element of sports? Yes, but here is the problem. I go back to this with the NBA. I like to watch home runs and dunks and touchdowns when I'm a spectator, right? But here's the issue. The Major League Baseball All-Star Game still looks pretty much like baseball. It hasn't become slow pitch softball where it's 15-14 after 3 innings. It's still very difficult to hit that pitching, right? The Pro Bowl, the last years they actually made it into a football game, nobody was tackling, so it didn't look like football. I like to watch a lot of dunks. The problem is with the NBA All-Star Game, nobody is giving any resistance, and everything is either a 40-foot jumper or a lob pass where everyone's dunking. So if everyone's dunking all the time, there's nothing spectacular about it. They've lost the plot here. And I don't believe that Adam Silver or anyone else has the guts to tell them, hey, guys, we got to go back to trying, because here's the problem. It's too late. There are no solutions to this.
Well, let me just say this, Jason. We talked about it yesterday, and I said that it's incumbent on the individual players or the individual, like one special guy. Like you guys are talking about former All-Star games. I remember 2012, Kobe Bryant was 34 years old. LeBron James was the league MVP that year. And in the fourth quarter of that game, Bryant essentially said, LeBron's not scoring. I'm taking him the whole fourth quarter, and he's not scoring. And Kobe was picking him up full court, defending him the length of the court. He turned him over multiple times. He blocked him twice. And LeBron did not score a basket till he made a meaningless free throw down like 8 points with 30 seconds left. And Kobe was walking past the scorer's table, calling out to the guys that were broadcasting the game, like, he can't score on me, talking trash on LeBron. Like, over the hill, washed up Kobe Bryant was doing that to MVP LeBron James. We need some guy with that fire. I think it's Victor Wembanyama because he is like the best defensive player in the world right now. He's one of these international players. I think it's up to him. And look, he was competing in last year's game. I think it's up to him to go out, compete, defend the rim, not give up the dunks, and kind of just shame all of these other players into getting up on his level and competing.
Scap, I hear you, but I think Nick Wright has offered a superior solution. Just shirts and skins, baby. Whites versus blacks. And just that would, Wembyamba, he goes out there, a one-man wrecking crew, and guys are like, hey, man, what are you doing? Don't you know? I don't think anyone's going to follow his lead. If it's black versus white, I don't think you're going to have to beg anybody to compete. Initially, I didn't like the idea. I think actually it would be bad for the country, whereas I thought the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson thing was actually good for the country years ago. But I think it would be bad, but I think it would work, and I think it would be compelling. And who knows? Maybe it wouldn't even be bad. Maybe it would, get it out of our system in some sort of way. And I know this will sound crazy. I think this is something NBA players, and I don't know what their contracts forbid them from doing. But if I were them, I would put this event on myself. Screw Adam Silver. If they wanted to put on some kind of off-season event that mattered and lined their pockets and showed that they could actually run something, I would get with Netflix or Amazon and put on a special basketball game, blacks versus whites.